Have you ever noticed how in today's world everyone looks unbelievably happy, almost suspiciously happy, like the kind of happiness that feels too perfect to be real? And you sit there wondering if you missed some secret manual on how to live a flawless life. Because every time you open your phone, someone is announcing a best day of my life, new beginnings, living my dream, or positive vibes only, while you're just trying to convince yourself to get out of bed without overthinking your entire existence. And that's exactly where the illusion of happiness begins. Because happiness today has become less about feeling good and more about looking good, less about genuine emotions and more about perfect expressions, less about real life and more about a well-edited version of it. And what's even funnier is that most of us know deep down that what we see on social media is a curated highlight reel. Yet somehow our brain still falls for it like a kid falls for a magic trick, even though we know the rabbit didn't actually come out of the hat. And psychology explains this beautifully by saying that humans have always been wired to compare. But earlier, we compared ourselves with a few people around us. And now we compare ourselves with the entire world in our pockets. Which means every time you scroll, you subconsciously evaluate your life against thousands of other lives that are edited, filtered, polished, and often exaggerated, making you believe that everyone is happier than you, more successful than you, more confident than you, or simply living life correctly, while you're still figuring out how to deal with Monday mornings, awkward conversations, and existential dread at 2 a.m. And this constant comparison creates a silent pressure to appear happy even when you're not, which is why people are smiling in pictures while feeling empty inside, posting motivational quotes while fighting their own battles, sharing vacation photos while being mentally exhausted, because somewhere along the way, we started believing that if other people see us as happy, then maybe we will start feeling happy too. But that's not how real happiness works, because real happiness is not a performance, not a mask, not a show you put on for the world. It's a quiet feeling that grows in the background. It's the comfort you feel with the people who know you. It's the peace you feel when you choose what's right for your mental health over what looks good online. And one of the biggest illusions today is the belief that happiness is a permanent state. Like once you achieve certain goals or reach a certain point in life, you'll be happy forever. But psychology says happiness has always been temporary. It comes in waves, sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes for no reason. Sometimes in tiny moments you don't even notice, like laughing uncontrollably at a stupid joke, eating something you love, listening to a song that hits differently, sitting in silence without anxiety, waking up one morning and randomly feeling okay. And because real happiness is subtle and quiet, people often fail to recognize it and instead chase dramatic, picture-perfect happiness. The kind that looks impressive, the kind that gets likes, the kind that makes people say, wow, and the illusion becomes even stronger when everyone around you participates in this happiness performance. Because when you see thousands of smiling faces online, you automatically assume they know something you don't, but you don't see their fears, insecurities, doubts, heartbreaks, overthinking, financial stress, loneliness, and emotional struggles. Because the world only shows what it wants to show, and nobody posts their breakdowns. Nobody shares their silent frustrations. Nobody uploads pictures of their self-doubt or the nights they felt lost. And because we never see those moments, we start believing we're the only ones going through them. But the truth is, everyone is dealing with something, even the ones who look the happiest. And once you understand this, you start seeing the illusion more clearly. You start realizing that happiness isn't about never feeling sad, never feeling confused, never feeling stressed, because those emotions are a natural part of life, not signs of failure. And once you accept this, you stop chasing happiness like a trophy and start experiencing it as it is, in tiny moments, without pressure, without comparison, without pretending, because the happiest people aren't the ones who act joyful every day. They're the ones who allow themselves to feel everything: joy, sadness, excitement, fear, peace, and still choose to move forward. And the illusion becomes weaker when you stop measuring your life by the happiness displayed by others and start paying attention to your own inner world. your own pace, your own journey, because your life doesn't need to look exciting every day to be meaningful. It doesn't need to be aesthetic to be valuable. It doesn't need to be loud to be beautiful. And it definitely doesn't need external approval to make sense. Because the real measure of happiness is not how happy you look to others, but how content, peaceful, and aligned you feel with yourself. And the moment you stop living for the audience and start living for yourself, you quietly break out of the illusion and discover a version of happiness that's real, grounded, soft, and deeply personal. A happiness that doesn't need captions, filters, or validation. A happiness that stays even when the phone is off, even when there's nothing to post, even when there's nothing dramatic happening. Because true happiness is not found in the performance of a perfect life, but in the acceptance of a real one. And once you understand this, life stops feeling like a competition and starts feeling like a journey you're allowed to move through at your own speed, without pretending, without chasing illusions, and without comparing your reality to someone else's highlight reel. Because the real secret is this: happiness isn't something you show, it's something you feel. And sometimes the people who look happiest aren't the ones living the best lives. They're just the ones performing it the loudest. While the real peace often belongs to the ones who don't broadcast their joy, who don't need an audience for their moments, who live quietly, deeply, honestly, and without the burden of proving anything to anyone. And maybe that's the kind of happiness worth chasing, the one that is real even when no one is watching.